So, Ohio State versus Michigan is happening in Columbus this year, and Fanduel has just released the spread, the preseason spread that you can currently buy in for this game. Currently, the books have the Buckeyes favored by 12.5, which is 3 points more than last year's, as Ohio State was a 9.5 point favorite. Now they are a 12.5 point favorite. So the third year in a row where the Buckeyes are huge favorites over the Wolverines. We'll talk about past spreads and kind of their outcomes and usually how accurate they are, because for as defensive these teams have been, the past, like Ohio State's been an offensive team, but Michigan's been defensive and Ohio State's had good defenses. This game usually gets pretty pointy. This game usually hits the over. So we'll talk about that. But I want to talk about specifically this year's spread. So the Buckeyes are 12.5 point favorites. Let me bring this over here. And the over-under is 45.5. So what you can do here is you can take 45, take away 12, and you get 33. Divide that by 2, and then 16.5, and then you add 12. So they are kind of predicting this game to be like a 28-17 type game. That's what they predict. And the Buckeyes are minus 580, which means if you bet 100, since it's minus, if you bet $580 for the Buckeyes to win, you'll win $100. I think for Michigan it's plus 450. So if you bet $100 for Michigan to win, you'll win $450. That's kind of how the minus plus for sports betting works. Don't recommend you get into it, but if you're wondering what that means, that's what that means. And when you look at this game last year, Buckeyes were 9.5 point favorites, and this was after the 4-game winning streak and directly the 1 year after the debacle in Columbus 13-10, where the Buckeyes were 19 point favorites at home against a 5-loss Michigan team, and this was a national title team, and they lost at home in one of the most disgusting ways we've ever seen. I mean, literally the worst performance I think I've ever seen from an Ohio State team. It's up there with that Missouri game of how bad, just how awful they played. But that might have been the worst, especially because of how bad that team was. Missouri wasn't a horrible team that year, and we didn't have a quarterback. But I want to talk about some of the past year's spreads, because I want to look at since 2000. Since 2000, the Buckeyes have been majority favorites over the Wolverines. In 2000, Ohio State was a 2.5 point favorite in 2001. This was the year before they won the national title. Michigan was an 8-point favorite. 2002, OSU. 2003, Michigan. 2004, Michigan. 2005, OSU. 2006, OSU. 2007, OSU. 2008, OSU. 2009, 2010, OSU. 2011, this was the Luke Fickell year. Michigan was favored by 8. 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Where all the Buckeyes were favorites. 2018, Urban's last year. This game was in Columbus. Remember, Michigan was 10-1. They were the 4th highest ranked team in the country, which means they were going to the playoffs if they win. They were a 4.5 point favorite. The Buckeyes win 62-39. That was the Dwayne Haskins game. Paris Campbell, who just retired. 2019, 2020, 21, 22. Ohio State were all favorites. In 23, Michigan was a 1-point favorite. That's when they won the national title. And then 24, 25, and 26, the Buckeyes were favorites, and they've been big favorites. Obviously 24, that was we just talked about the Will Howard national title year when they lost. Last year was the curse was broken. They finally ended the 4-game winning streak for Michigan, and they beat them 27-9. And now, kind of looking back as we kind of track back to 2026, is they're actually giving some love to this Michigan offense. I mean, they think they're going to score 16 or 17 points in a year where it's not a down year for Ohio State's defense, but Ohio State has had a top 2 defense 3 years in a row. In 23, they were the second best defense behind Michigan. In 24, they were the best defense. In 25, they were the best defense. And now they bring in 51 new guys. However, many of those were on the defense. I think a lot of them were on that defense. A lot of the starters, a lot of the transfers that are going to be starting this year are on that defense. Get out of my face, fly. Are on the defensive side of the ball. So, maybe they're right. Maybe Michigan can score 17, which isn't a lot. But remember, last year, the most the defense had ever allowed was in that Miami game where they allowed 17 defensive points. Dude, this fly, I'm actually going to kill this thing. God. You done? Are you done? Yeah, that's what I thought. Don't play with me. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. The most this defense has ever allowed was 17 points once, and that happened against Miami. The second most was Illinois when they allowed 16. So defense has been pretty locked down, and now it's back in the shoe. Do I think Michigan's going to get up to 17? I would think so, just because this offense is going to be much improved compared to last year. I think if you have not watched my Ohio State versus Michigan early prediction, I'll pin it up here. Go watch it. I have a whole playlist of early predictions. You guys should go watch it if you're interested. And I want you guys to watch the video, so I don't want to spoil, but I think I had Michigan scoring 19 points, and I think some of it was garbage time. So yeah, can they get to 17? Sure. I think they can get to 17. I mean, really, it's 10 points and then maybe 7 in garbage time. I can see that happening. That's not impossible. They scored 9 points last year. I mean, you get one more touchdown, you get there. So, but also they're only thinking that Ohio State's going to score 28. I don't know. This Michigan defense, I get they're a defensive school, but I mean, what has the Michigan defense shown you in the past 2 years? 2 years? Yeah, 2 years that they're going to be capable. I mean, I get they only scored 27 last year, but that was on the road. You started slow. It was, it was raining, or not raining. It was snowing, and that was, Ohio State did not want to play fast at all that year. That was the whole thing they were known for. It's why they lost in the postseason. So 28-17, I would, yeah. I mean, I think I had 28-19. So as much as I hear that, and I want to disagree with it, I picked that to happen. So it's not impossible. I can see it happening. What if Ryan Day loses this game? Because they're 12.5-point favorites. And honestly, if you've looked at Michigan has been better as a program when Ryan Day has been at Ohio State compared to when Urban was there. I mean, when Urban was there, they've had good teams, but you look at the spreads of when Ryan Day has been here. I mean, 12.5, 9.5, 19.5. In 23, Michigan was 1.5 point favorite, but 22, 8.5, 21, 6.5, and 2020, 30 points favorites, 2019 days for sure, 9-point favorites. So, I mean, aside from that 1 year in 23, Ryan Day has been a touchdown favorite every single year against Michigan, and he has a 2-4 record. And if you want to add COVID, it's 3-4. Then take away 21 and 22, the cheating years. Then Day's 3-2. But just like how the Cavs are analytically beating the Knicks right now, Day's record is 2-4. So what if Day loses this game this year? Day has one thing. This would suck, because I'm going to this game and the Oregon game. So hopefully we can at least split it. I want to see a win, especially if you lose to Oregon at home, that sucks. But yeah, man, Day has never beaten Michigan and Columbus before. If this guy loses to Michigan again at home, now he's what? I'm trying to think. 0-3. I think he's 0-3 at home if he loses this game, because he lost in 24, lost in 22, didn't play in 2020. Yeah, so he's never beaten Michigan. He's beaten Michigan twice on the road. He actually has a tied record. I'm trying to think. 2-4, 2019 he won, 2021 lost. Yeah, he's 2-2 on the road, 0-2 at home. So it's never beat him again with our fans watching, which is the most shocking thing. It's you've beat Michigan twice on the road, but never at home. So what if he loses this game? I think it depends on this. Either way, losing this game is going to be awful, but it depends on what Ohio State's record is before heading into this game. If Ohio State is 8-2, or no. If they are 9-2 heading into this game, let's say they lost to Texas or they lost to Indiana, or they have 2 losses. And they're not going to the Big Ten championship if they lose this game, because they'll either have a second or third Big Ten loss. And now if they lose this game, looking at Michigan's schedule is, if they beat Ohio State, they might be 9-3. So it's if you lose, not only are you going to be 9-3 and you might not make it, now Michigan will be above you because they're probably going to also be 9-3. Maybe they're 8-4, even with a win. I don't know. But let's just say hypothetically, if you lose, I mean, if Ohio State goes 9-3, and if they lose to Michigan, they don't make the Big Ten championship, and they miss the playoff. Remember, Ohio State is the only program to have if the 4-team era was the 12. If there was never a 4-team, it was just 12 teams from 2014 to 2025. Ohio State is the only program to never miss it. Bama, remember, they missed it in the 12th, and they missed it in 24. So like this would be earth. I mean, this is like Day. We already feel that Day's kind of on his way out, but you have that with the last year of Jeremiah, and you miss the college football playoff. I'll pin another video up here. It's a what if Ohio State goes 9-3 video, and it's just kind of just an elaboration of that video. Is I think would Day leave that year? I don't know, because I would say if that were to happen, then everyone's coming for Julian's head. And I know, I don't know if it was Mel Kiper. Someone just came out and was saying that, Julian Sand is maybe waiting till 2028 to come out. No. Even if Julian's like, Heisman level year or whatever, does really well, Heisman makes the playoffs, makes a run, whatever. Like, we don't have, buddy, like we got Tavian St. Clair. Like, we're trying to progress our program, because Tavian will be a Dwayne Haskins situation where he's only here for 1 year, or will it be like a Stroud or Justin Fields where he's here for 2 years? It just depends how good that first year is. Because remember, Tavian can go to the draft after his first year. If he wants to stay or come back, he'll have to choose. He'll be a redshirt sophomore, so he would be a fourth-year player if he wanted to come back. So he could leave after his first year of starting. So if Julian were to come back, and like Tavian, I think would leave. Like, we might only get Tavian next year, and then he's gone, whether he plays or not. So, Julian, it's unfortunate. Julian, you were a Heisman finalist. We get that, and we'll see how good you want to become this year. But we might not have room for you. We might not have room for you. We're trying to progress. This is the problem we've been seeing everywhere in college football. When we see all these guys come back for their 5th and 6th years, the coaches are like, hey, man, you're great and all. But, we got high school recruits. If you come here more, all of our young players are going to transfer. And then when you leave the next year, now we have a gap where we just lost an entire recruiting class because your ass wanted to come back. So I don't even know if we would have room for him to come back. So if he plays bad and he still doesn't want to go out to the draft, I mean, I'm talking about Julian Zane transferring. And if that were to happen, where he would go, it depends. I mean, I could see him going back to Bama. I'm trying to think. Keelan Russell is in that same class, or he's in the class ahead of Julie 1 year after. So he would be a second year. He was a freshman. So he wouldn't even be able to go to the draft. So Bama would still have Keelan Russell. So I don't think he would go there. I mean, we could see him going to Miami. Maybe he goes to USC, but he would be transferring. He would be, if they go 9-3, he would be leaving. Jeremiah would go to the draft. He'd be drafted 1 or 2nd overall. People would call for Ryan Day's head again, saying you just wasted this 2nd and 3rd year of Jeremiah because you got bounced in the playoffs last year. And now in this hypothetical situation, you just missed the playoff. And I get the schedule's hard, but it wasn't like if you were to lose to, maybe Texas, Oregon, and Indiana, or maybe it's like you lose to Oregon, USC, and Texas, but you beat Indiana, you beat Michigan, you beat Iowa, you probably still get in. But if you go 9-3 and you have 3 conference losses, or 2, one of them's to Michigan, one of them outside the conference is to Texas. I mean, this is Day's record falls to 2-5. We missed the playoff. Jeremiah's gone. Julian's gone. Every remnant of that national title team is gone. They're all gone. And now it's kind of Day, as many good teams as Day had, is he actually holding back the program? So if we go to 2019, that 2019 team, a lot of people say that's the best Ryan Day team, just because it was Urban's team that Day took over. Kind of, he brought Fields and he made the defense much better than it was with coaching staff. So you have to give some credit to Day. But you had 2019 LSU that year, but you didn't get to the national title. But hey, it's your first year, whatever. Second year, Justin Fields again. You don't have Chase Young, but you have Justin Fields again. And you go to the national title. It was a weird year, and you had to go play at one of the best Bama teams ever. Okay, whatever. 2021, defense is awful. And you had that amazing offense with C.J. Stroud and, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., Cade Stover, Emeka Ibuka, and you didn't go to the playoff. You lost at home to a kind of a mid-Oregon team, that year in week 2. Okay, 2022, you make the playoffs, then you kind of choke against Oregon. I know the ref calls, but, should have won a national title that year. And 23, you were this close, to getting to the playoff. You had that last drive against Michigan. You didn't bring in a portal guy at quarterback. You kind of relied on Kyle McCord. And they said Devin Brown was supposed to be the starting quarterback, which then ended up being Kyle McCord. But we saw what Devin Brown is. He's an FCS quarterback now. That would have been worse than McCord. There's a reason why McCord started over Devin Brown. And then in 24, you won the national title, but you still lost to Michigan. 2025, you had the most talented team in the country. You didn't win even a playoff game. Indiana, the national title team, or the national title winners, only put up 13 points, and you still couldn't beat them. And then now in this year, let's say you go 9-3. It's like man, we should have 2 or 3 national championships. We only have 1. And that was like a player-led team. That took everything. That national title run in 24 took everything from Ohio State and the players to get there. I mean, that was like storybook. It wasn't like 2015 Bama where, there might have been a story, but like 2015 Bama, they just they went and they just won the national title because they were that good. It wasn't like 2014 Ohio State where we're on our 3rd string quarterback, or like 2019 LSU or 2016 or 2018 Clemson. We're like, man, they just won it because they're good. It's like, no, we only won it because, it was like destiny. That team was like destiny. And also that team was one of the most talented football teams I have ever seen in my life. Probably the most talented Ohio State team ever, up there with 02 Ohio State. Talking about talent, it's like 2019 Ohio State, 2002 Ohio State, probably 1988 Ohio State, or one of those late 80s, the Chris Spielman teams with John Cooper, and then 2024 Ohio State. So I don't know, because Day's never going to have a team like that again. College football is not built, especially with how much portal players are asking for now, and you can't stack talent. That was kind of that was the last super team. That 24 Ohio State team. Even Indiana last year, that was not a super team. That was not a super team. They had 8 guys drafted, but it wasn't the most. It wasn't top 3. I don't even think it was top 5. I think they were tied for 5th or 6th with Alabama. A&M had more draft picks than them. So that was a very talented team with a Heisman winner at quarterback and a very well coached team, similar to kind of that 2010 Auburn team. It's kind of one of the closer things I'd relate. That team was probably more talented than that Auburn team. That Auburn team had Cam Newton, so I don't think Indiana was going to beat that Auburn team. But so I don't know. Let me know down in the comments, how would you feel? I like Ohio State 12.5 point favorites. It's big, but we've seen bigger spreads that had devastating losses. The last time this game happened in Columbus, the Buckeyes were 19.5 point favorites and they lost. So in Bryce Underwood. The thing with Bryce Underwood is he's ridiculously talented. He is like an incredible kid, but he's not developed. He's not even under Kyle Whittingham. Kyle Whittingham, even with the quarterbacks that he has had, does not develop pocket passers. Think of the best 2 most recent maybe the best 2 Utah quarterbacks that he had in his coaching career at Utah. It was Devin Dampier this past year, who, he could throw it, but he was a runner, and Cam Rising, who was a runner. Watch the 2021 Rose Bowl against Ohio State. That boy can run. So they ran him so much he had to retire from football. And that's kind of the joke that everyone's making about, Bryce Underwood. We could be looking in 12 months' time to his last year and saying, Bryce Underwood, he's just, DJ Lagway. He's just another version of DJ Lagway. Or he's another, Nico Iamaleava. Or, he's another Jalen Milroe. You know what I mean? So, Jalen Milroe was good, but he wasn't he regressed a lot in his final year, 2024. He regressed a lot compared to 23. So I don't know. I don't trust Bryce Underwood at all. I think he is very cocky, and for starting quarterback, you got to have some level of arrogance and cockiness. But it's me versus Matt Patricia, and then got his ass whooped. What was he? 8 for 18, 60 passing yards and an interception. So, yeah, I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling myself if I'm a Buckeye fan right now. 12.5, it's nice. 9.5, you know, it was a lot last year, but it felt a little closer than we wanted. We knew Ohio State was probably going to win by more. I predicted them to win, I think, like 27-10. It was 27-9, very close. So I would put some respect. I think the Buckeyes could win. I think the Buckeyes probably will win and cover. Will they cover? Will it be like 2019 where it's like 56-27? Probably not. But could it be, I mean, I had 28-19. Could it be, you know, 35-17? 100%. I absolutely think that could happen. But yeah, I'm excited for this game. If you have not watched my Ohio State versus Michigan early prediction, it's pinned up here in the description, and it's on the playlist on the homepage of the channel. Make sure you go watch it. Also, if you have not already, please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 500 subs. Also, if you enjoyed today's show, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. How do you feel about this if you're a Buckeye fan? Do you think the spread's too little, too big? And if you're a Michigan fan, I know you're probably yelling at me already. Let me know what you think the spread be. Who do you think is going to be winning this game? But again, that's all I have for you guys today. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. And as always, thank you.